This is Dave again at AFX Title and TitleSearch.com. Big case came out today in the foreclosure document fraud arena. Case called Pino versus New England Bank. Was one of those robo-signing, document fraud, foreclosure fraud type deals where homeowner had a property, became delinquent on the mortgage, the lender foreclosed, but there was a challenge to that foreclosure. The foreclosure was defended against by an attorney to say that it was not a legal foreclosure. They went back through the documents, they did a forensic title audit, which we do quite frequently, and found that some of the documents filed by the foreclosing lender were inaccurate. They were invalid. There was robo-signing on the assignments. There were backdated assignments. There may have been even forgeries on some of the documents. So it was sent to court. The court said, look, the foreclosure may not be valid. The borrower took it the next step and tried to have the entire loan be invalidated. Well, today, the higher court determined that just because there's documents filed improperly on the foreclosure doesn't invalidate the underlying loan. That underlying lien is still valid. The foreclosure process might be fraud, but it doesn't affect the underlying lien because those forgeries did not really occur on the underlying lien. They occurred on the foreclosure. So the foreclosure defense strategy of identifying problems with the documents filed in the foreclosure matter are still valid. They will still invalidate that foreclosure. The big ruling in this case said the bank can come back later and refile that foreclosure. It doesn't make the whole deal go away. And if they refile it and get the paperwork right, well, guess what? The foreclosure goes through. The lesson to be learned from this, as a borrower, understand that the loan and the foreclosure are two different things. If there's forgeries on the foreclosure, that might invalidate or delay that foreclosure itself, but they can come back and refile. If there were forgeries on the loan, different story. Then that loan might be invalidated. But they're two different things, and each foreclosure is a different event. If you were delinquent on a loan, you file foreclosure against, or somebody files foreclosure against you, you can become current. They can file another foreclosure 2 years later. Each one doesn't depend on the other. What's the lesson to be learned for a lender? The lesson is that paperwork is important. Having it done right the first time is important. It may not be fatal to the loan, but it's going to cost a lot of money. There may be some liability for a lender to the borrower if they file foreclosure improperly. There may be legal fees to be refunded. There may be damages. In this case, it was handled by the law firm in Florida of David Stern, who is under investigation. Actually, I think he's before the Bar Association in Florida for some possible consequences for this robo-signing. But the point is, foreclosure document fraud affects that single foreclosure event, not the loan itself, and not subsequent foreclosure. So as a borrower, foreclosure defense, if you really want to defend against that loan underlying the foreclosure, look at what the defects might be there, and that might require quiet title, may require other action. But the ruling this week, Pino versus New England, said that if the foreclosure is found to be invalid, they can come back and file again at a later date once they get all the paperwork correct on that loan.